Damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
I have said multiple times on my channel that the 2021 college football season has been one of the most wild and craziest seasons of college football, maybe all time. And I mean this 100%. It seems like there's something crazy happening every week. And now, if you're keeping up with the news lately, it seems like there's something crazy happening every hour, it seems like, depending on the team you're covering. In today's video, this is B. Kelly back again with another banger video, and in today's video, I am going to be talking about some of the crazy events happening in the college football world these past couple days, involving OU, USC, Notre Dame, and LSU. And before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, as we are on the road to 10K. Now, let's get into it. The first topic I am going to be talking about in today's video involves Oklahoma and USC. Now, you may be wondering why. This is probably the hottest topic in college football right now, as Lincoln Riley unexpectedly left Oklahoma to go be the head coach for USC before the season was even done. Not only that, this came less than 24 hours after losing Bedlam. There were some rumors here and there this season about Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma to be the head coach of LSU, but ultimately none of those rumors were really that credible. It was mainly a bunch of message board talk, and LSU fans or guys who were SEC biased or LSU biased claiming that he was going to be their next head coach. He was offered by LSU, that is a fact, but he never accepted the job. And for a matter of fact, after the Bedlam game, he even shot down the idea of going to LSU after being asked a question about it. Everything would seem fine. Oklahoma fans were going to bed knowing that their head coach was not leaving to go to LSU and that he was going to be here for the long term, or that's what they thought. And people were reporting that if he was going to leave for another job from Oklahoma, it was going to be for the NFL. Yeah, people were really happy about it, but they were not very happy for long, as literally the next day he would end up leaving Oklahoma to be the head coach for USC. And he was bringing some staff members with him, you know that. So yeah, Lincoln Riley is now the head coach for USC. He has brought several members of the Oklahoma staff with him, and the interim head coach for the rest of the season at Oklahoma is OU legend Bob Stoops. But Oklahoma is already facing the drastic effects of Lincoln Riley leaving OU, and USC fans in the USC football program is as high as they can be right now. The effects that Oklahoma are facing are some effects that no team ever wants to face, especially when early signing day is literally just a couple weeks away. Now, what I mean by this is that OU, things are not looking so bright, and they have to get a head coach now to stop some of the bleeding. Some examples of just how things are just not going well for Oklahoma right now is currently in the 2022 recruiting class. Their most recent decommitment comes from Kobe McKenzie, but Raleek Brown is also about to decommit, and a couple other guys may decommit as well if they do not get the right head coach or do not get a head coach soon. But the biggest effects for Oklahoma for recruiting wise is in their 2023 recruiting class, a class that showed so much promise. A class that used to be ranked number 1 is now ranked 7th, which, yes, I know that's top 10, but not a lot of people have many commits in the class, and they currently have 3. Some of the decommitments they've had in 2023 so far include 5-star quarterback Malachi Nelson, 5-star wide receiver Brandon Innis, 5-star athlete Makai Lemon, and 4-star running back Treyon Webb. It's not even just that. Oklahoma has to try to not have players enter the portal, and players are already entering the portal, and there's already rumors about players entering later on as well. The people in the portal already from Oklahoma since Lincoln Riley has left OU is Austin Stogner, Spencer Rattler, Jaden Hazelwood, and Theo Weiss. These are all game-changing people to the program. Even though Spencer Rattler did get benched, losing him does hurt in case you do lose Caleb Williams later on, potentially. Not only that, but star wide receiver at Oklahoma Marvin Mims is considering it. I will add that it's not just because Lincoln Riley is leaving OU for USC, but Marvin has actually been considering transferring from OU since the middle of the season, since his role with the team has diminished from his freshman season to now. The rumored next head coach for OU is picking up a lot of steam with Brent Venables, and honestly, I will have to see if that happens. It does seem like it's very likely right now, but it's really hard to say who else is really in the running for the head coach for OU, as it's been very, very secretive. As if things couldn't get any crazier, the day after Lincoln Riley was hired, the next head coach for LSU was announced, and it's none other than Brian Kelly, the longtime Notre Dame head coach since 2010. I can say this, I was not expecting this at all. People have been saying that LSU was going to make a home run hire, and a home run hire they did, as Brian Kelly at Notre Dame was very successful, having a 113-40 career record in 12 years. The craziest thing about this to me is that he's not even finishing the season at Notre Dame. He's straight up going straight to LSU and being their head coach now. What's really surprising about it is that Notre Dame is the number 6 team in the nation. They're 11-1. They still have a shot for the playoff, and if some things go their way, we could see Notre Dame potentially as the number 4 seed in the playoffs this year, and they wouldn't have a head coach. It just really shocks me, as I never saw Brian Kelly being a guy that was going to leave Notre Dame, ever. Although Brian Kelly has officially left Notre Dame to become the head coach of LSU, nothing drastic has happened at Notre Dame yet. They haven't had anyone enter the transfer portal, and the only guy to decommit from their team is 3-star safety Devin Moore. They are definitely not facing as much drastic effects right now as Oklahoma is, but Notre Dame still needs to hire a head coach soon, especially before early signing day, as people can still decommit any minute now, and people might be transferring down the road, but right now, I would say Notre Dame is okay with it, especially compared to how Oklahoma is, with players decommitting, projected to flip, and players already entering the transfer portal. Some of the coaches being thrown around as the potential next head coach for Notre Dame include defensive coordinator for Notre Dame right now, Marcus Freeman, head coach for Cincinnati, Luke Fickell, head coach for Iowa State, Matt Campbell, and head coach for Purdue, Jeff Brom, among others. Well guys, if you made it this far in the video, drop something down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to be the next head coach for OU and Notre Dame? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. B. Kelly, out.